Undeniable racial barrier in football, the big jobs. I'm one of around 25% of current players who are black. So how come there are only 3 black managers out of 92 professional clubs?
A deflection, and it's an easy goal for John Barnes. Going to his left, but still Barnes. That's a fabulous individual goal.
John Barnes is one of England's greatest ever footballers. Despite suffering shocking racial abuse as a player, he won numerous trophies with Liverpool and nearly 80 caps for England.
Just like gents, please.
But after this glittering career on the pitch, he struggled to find work as a manager. Today he's leading the fight to get more black people into positions of power off the pitch.
Passive racism is an unconscious feeling that you have based on what you have been told. If I was white, I would be a passive racist because of all of the images and all of the rhetoric and all of the literature that I've read about black people.
I'm meeting John at the International Slavery Museum in Liverpool, near his home.
Becoming again without doubt.
Sacked from his first job as manager after just 8 months, John waited over 8 years for his next job.
Do you believe that a white manager would have had to wait so long for his next appointment?
Well, first of all, I think that white managers are given longer when you get a job.
Right.
Longer to fail.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you lose a couple matches, you're out. Because it's almost as if they don't really believe you in the first place, but they've given you the job. And then when you're not successful straight away, it's like, well, that's what we thought anyway, so here we go. Rather than stick with him, either from the point of view of being given time by the fans, by the players, by the hierarchy. And of course, to get back in, it's always easier if you're white to get back in as well.
How do you prove that?
You can't, because when you have an owner of a football club who owns the club, you can't tell him A, who he has to interview, and B, even if he has to interview you, he doesn't have to give you the job.
Yeah.
So you can't prove it.
How do you explain the lack of black managers then? What do you think it's down to?
Well, I always look at racism in 2 ways. Overt racism, which was obviously the way that it was 30 years ago, where everybody's doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And passive racism, which is what we see now, whereby we don't see lots of people doing it, but people still feel that way, but you can't prove it. Now, the problem we have is that a chairman may say, I'm not giving him the job, not because he's black.
Yeah.
I'm not giving him the job because I don't think he's good enough. But then if he was asking himself, why don't I think he's good enough? It would be because he's black.
Right.
But that's in the subconscious. And that is where the passive racism comes in, which a lot of people have, based on their perception of the intellectual capabilities of black people generally.